Hello everyone and welcome back to Unity of Command. This is the campaign scenario Kuibyshev from the Axis campaign of the main game. Kuibyshev and Astrakhan take place at the same time. They're concurrent, and whenever such is the case, so whenever two scenarios commence simultaneously, then as you know, we always play the northern one first, and Kuibyshev is the northernmost scenario of the whole map. It's a completely fictitious scenario after our victory at Stalingrad. So, September the 30th, 1942. After taking Stalingrad on the march, Germans strike north to sever Moscow's links with Siberia and the Urals. Axis forces are in reasonable shape, but the offensive cannot be mounted until supply catches up. Soviets, now under Zhukov, are given enough time to prepare multiple defensive belts. Right. As you can see, we are quite heavily outnumbered once again, and this is a huge map and with a lot of fighting, but I actually love this map. This is a lot of fun, and I think it's very easy to win brilliant victory here, and it's a lot of fun. You see a lot of progress there. You get a sense of truly advancing and building up an offensive. We are outnumbered roughly 2-1, or a bit more, a bit worse, and the AI is going to receive some reinforcements, not much actually, and mostly on the tail end of this scenario, and we receive nothing as usual. We have a few Romanians, but most of the other units are Germans, and they are actually, a lot of them are excellent. So this, as I've said, this is not a really difficult one. The Soviets also have some formidable formations, though. It's all kind of a mishmash from weak green units to excellent guards units, which make an introduction here. So we also get an air attack per turn and an air supply per turn. The Soviets get 2 partisan special actions per turn. Right. And as I've said, it's a huge map, but it's not as complicated as far as the map itself goes. So we start from the southwest, and our objective is far to the northeast. Our 2 objectives lie along the supply route, and I mean the supply route because this is practically the only one that we ever need to, the only one that we need to use, and the only one that is of any importance. So let's take a quick look at the two objectives. The first one to take is Saratov in the middle of the map. Take this crucial supply center quickly. We need the rail link in order to advance north, to be taken by the end of turn 9. And in the northeast, it's called Trans-Siberian, I guess Trans-Siberian Railway. Finally, sever this important rail link to Kuibyshev, Soviet Reserve capital city. This is it, the back door to Moscow. Right, Kuibyshev is just beyond. Alright. As for the terrain itself, the only thing that we need to note is there is this river, the Volga River, running here on our right flank, on our eastern flank, and our supply route runs parallel to it on the west bank. So we need to secure this, and we need to advance along this railway line. The terrain itself is mostly open. We have a bit of a more difficult terrain here, a bit of forested area, but other than that, it's not bad. It's really excellent for this kind of blitzkrieg warfare that we're gonna use. And you need to know that this is like Typhoon was, in the sense that after like turn 10 or so, around turn 10, a huge storm is coming, which is going to make progress very, very difficult, and it lasts for a few turns. This is inevitable. Afterwards, everything is gonna turn into frozen, and once the ground is frozen, you can recommence your assault and finish it off. And by the way, what you're seeing is the second attempt, because it's really funny. The first one I would have won as well, I think, but for some reason I thought that I needed to capture Saratov by turn 8, and as I barely missed it on turn 8, I restarted the scenario. I definitely could have captured it on turn 9. I was close at the city gates, so I was really close to it. I think if you follow my very basic strategy, you will be able to win every time, basically. So as for the supply, the Soviets have two supply sources, or sorry, three supply sources. Whenever their road enters in the north, enters the map, they have a supply source with a range of 8, and you cannot really cut off the main front line, but you can cut off these units here that are stationed here, and we're gonna do that. It's not, I mean, it's not like a huge army group by that time, but what we're gonna do is we're going to advance up until this bridge, and thereby, as we advance on both, kind of both sides of this prong, this little fork here, everything that remained in the southwest is going to run dry. All right, units. So we have quite a few excellent units, elite motorized divisions, which have 6 steps each. One of them even has a flak attachment. We have a tank, a panzer division with a Stug attachment, also elite, also 6 steps. We have another panzer division. It's very close to leveling up to veteran, so after one battle it will reach that. We actually have a Romanian armored division, which is not bad. It's relatively fast, and it's better than practically any non-armored or non-mobile forces. And once again, we have the Großdeutschland Panzergrenadier division. As you know, it's excellent. It's elite, 7+1 steps with the recon capability. So this is basically our best unit practically on the battlefield, either this or this tank division. We also have a lot of good or decent infantry units, also close to leveling up. They are either veteran, close to leveling up to elite, or they are standard, close to leveling up to veteran. We have a lot of pioneers, 4 in fact, and so all of our units here in this little area is great. And in the west we have some auxiliary Romanian forces which are inconsequential. And as for our supply, which we haven't talked about, our supply runs from Stalingrad directly, and it has a range of 10, so it's more than sufficient, it's ample. We also have an off-road supply source here in the west, which serves no purpose whatsoever. This one in the east can easily supply most of your forces up until around this area. And this affects our strategy, because what we are going to do is we are going to feint giving up this whole area. You can actually give it up. You can give up the area between the Don and the Cher, and you know, get to the eastern bank of the Don river and just proceed from here. But we are only going to start moving out, and the AI is going to send one of its best units to occupy our supply source. There it will run out of supply, and we will simply remove it. So this is something you can always reliably do. But anyway, slowly move all your units here in this area and push to the north. That's basically our strategy. As for the enemy units, they're kind of a mishmash. They have some weak green units that are entrenched and they have special steps, whatever, but a green unit is a green unit, so you can easily break them. And especially you have these pioneer specialist steps here, so you can easily remove their entrenchment, and afterwards they just become a pushover. And you have to use your better units against their better units. So for instance, these veteran infantry divisions with T-34 attachments, don't underestimate these ones. They are actually pretty good. On the eastern bank of the Volga River, there are also some Soviet formations, and what I highly recommend you do is you should move one of your fast-moving units. I think this is your best bet. This is the weakest motorized division, to the eastern bank, and run parallel to the river and clear out everything there is. If it stays just 1 hex on the other side of the river, then it will remain in supply, so that's excellent, and it is superior to anything that the Soviets have. The Soviets have Cossacks corps, so guards cavalry units. They also have guards tank units as well. And be careful with these ones. For instance, this is a veteran with a specialist step, and it's an excellent unit overall. So you have to be careful which unit you pick, because some of them are pushovers, and some of them easily match, well, not your best units, but easily match your veteran infantry units. So don't suicide them. So by this time you should be aware of what each unit is worth, and you have to, you know, act accordingly. The weather can be a difficulty factor, so it can make your life harder, as it will do so for us. But otherwise, it's as I've said, it's a relatively easy scenario. So let's see how we proceeded. First, we removed the these inexperienced green units. As I said, they're practically nothing. So and we need to push forward as fast as we can. And once you remove the specialist step of units like this, then they become worthless, because, as you know, they are just regular tank divisions. So now we have better units that we can throw at them. As long as the enemy has units directly on the other bank of the river, make sure that you hold every hex, because they can just move across and cut you off. And as I've said, move everything to the east. Just you can totally abandon this little nook here. We are going to recapture it eventually, but the AI falls for the bait, and I really like that. I forgot to use my air attack, which is not of no consequence. And yeah, already on the first turn of the AI, as you can see, these units are out of supply, and one of them actually moved forward, so it's going to remain out of supply. And the AI has a lot of units here in the west, which are of no importance, and the AI knows this, so it's going to throw all of them to the east, so that they bunch up around Saratov, the first victory axe. And that is where the main battle is going to take place, around this first victory hex, or before it. There is going to be a huge armored battle there, and once we have won that, basically the enemy resistance is going to crumble to almost nothing, and that's when the storm will arrive. So you have to finish off the bigger bunch of Soviet units before the storm arrives, otherwise you're gonna have a difficult time. Alright, for some reason the AI really likes to entrench in this forest in the west, in the middle of nowhere. I don't know why that is important to it. Alright, so far first round, great progress, and this unit is so much weaker than ours that we could attack across the river and still cause it casualties. And yeah, we just need to push. As I've said, this is not going to be an issue. Our Großdeutschland division can overrun even the strongest enemy units, which is amazing, right? And even our standard units can easily match some of their standard units, obviously, so don't be afraid to attack like this and gain experience levels like that. Alright, we will remove this unit, which will allow us to move our other units onward, so that we don't need to babysit the whole length of the supply route. And we move the Romanians back. This unit won't be able to attack the next turn, which is really funny. And I decided to remove this unit. It kind of launched a bad assault the previous turn, and this was extremely costly for the Romanians. So we suffer a lot of casualties, but eventually we suppress everything, and the final Romanian unit can remove it off the map. Alright, we still have our best tank unit to move, and of course you can easily overrun several units with it. Oh, and we also have our best motorized division to move as well. So as you see, everything, we are going through them like a hot knife through butter. It's not really nothing's really a threat so far. Yep. And on the Soviets next turn, all they can do is reorganize their front line and try to stabilize, try to create new front lines as well. We haven't yet moved our unit to the east bank, but we will eventually. I think we're going to move this one eventually, and it's going to do great service. And as always, once you have weakened units, reorganize them, and you can use the steps to reinforce your most important or strongest infantry units, and that will make them even more effective. They might lose a level of experience, but they will gain it back. So when I reorganize this unit, I plan to resupply these two units with them. And I reorganize also the damaged Romanian units. Eventually we can use them to fill up these better ones. This Soviet unit cannot attack, but we also don't want to attack it. It's very strong still, but in the next turn it will be fully out of supply and we can simply remove it. And now we move to the eastern bank of the river. We overran this cavalry corps and we actually remove it off the map. So our progress seems unstoppable and it's going on pretty well. And the tank unit is so much weakened that we can actually use standard infantry units to remove them. And always note that green units are extremely weak. I withdraw our best unit. I would rather pull back the best unit we have to remove that excellent enemy veteran unit from off the map, and it goes off without any issues. And once again, green units are really pathetic, so veteran units can destroy them even if they have specialist steps, so if they have bonuses, don't worry about it. And unfortunately this 90% chance of overrunning did not take place. I was pretty mad about that. And just make sure that you don't get cut off in the back. Later on the partisans will cause us some trouble in this regard. Alright, as you see, the AI first bunched up around the victory hex, but now it decides to move out, which is good for us, beneficial for us, because we are going to have the battle is going to take place before the bad weather arrives, and that's crucial that we win as soon as possible, because we are running against the clock. As I've said, I only played this map twice and I managed to capture the city hex both times, or would have the first time if I had realized I was not late. But I don't think you can capture it much earlier, so it's a map that's well designed, but you will only capture everything on the last turn. Alright, here that unit has been removed and only this one pathetic unit remains. And by the way, don't worry about attacking across the river. So here in the southwest only this entrenched Soviet unit remains. As we advance on our main front line, we're going to move one infantry unit to the northwest, and eventually it's going to cut off its supply and of course the other supply as well. So it will start to run dry, it will start to retreat, and then we can just destroy it. And as I've said, don't worry about attacking weaker units across the river. This unit is excellent, so it's not going to suffer casualties. Alright, we try to remove everything and try to propel our best units forwards as much as we can. This guards unit is excellent, so don't take it too easily. It has 6 attacks and 5 defense stats, 7 active steps plus a KV1 specialist step, and it's veteran, so be careful. I'm not even sending this unit against it. This is technically, I think, weaker without a specialist step. But the Großdeutschland division is stronger, so we actually managed to remove the specialist step, which is excellent. It actually matters a lot. And now we can reinforce our units. And this unit lost its elite status, but once it manages to deal 1 casualty to any unit, then it's going to regain it, so it's all fine. And I don't want our flank to be exposed, so I don't mind dedicating some of my slower moving but better units still to this purpose, to destroy whatever is left here. Alright, and I decide to reinforce the best units that I could find around the battlefield. Right? The Soviets stand no chance, I think, but they still have a lot of units in this area. And yes, some of them are pretty excellent, like this one. It's still good. I know we removed the specialist step, but yes, it can cause us casualties. And this tank division actually takes quite a beating. I wasn't happy about that, but yeah, what can you do? And yeah, the AI uses its partisan special action in weird ways sometimes. Sometimes it really does a good job. Now, on this turn, we have weather problems. So a lot of the hexes are muddy and rainy, so the defenders get a huge advantage and we can move much less. So on this turn I really needed to pay close attention to where I'm attacking, because if it's a clear hex, obviously everything is fine. If it's a stormy hex, then we have a problem. So we use an air attack, which gets a malus, obviously attacking in bad weather, but we still succeed. And this is the effect of weather. Our best unit inflicted 1 casualty. That's not great. And here too we are suffering from bad weather effects, but once again there is not much we can do. This unit is not in a bad weather situation, so we can just, you know, hit it. And so can we this one, and so we're just waiting for the weather to the storm to dissipate a bit. This is not yet the big storm, so it is just like a foreplay, so to say. A precursor. Yep, as you can see, some of these units are pathetic. And once again, 90% chance to overrun didn't happen. Sometimes it can be pretty infuriating, because then you're just, you know, wasting your units on pretty weakened enemy, destroying pretty weakened enemy formations instead of attacking the stronger ones. But what can you do? We received the Romanian the Romanian steps that we reorganized, so all of the Romanians are now at full strength. And the Soviets' turn, they actually destroy this tank formation, unfortunately, and they also deal quite a lot of damage to the other to the Romanians as well, which is not fun. I know it only has a defense rating of 2, but oh, they don't destroy it yet. We will lose this unit, I think. They don't destroy it yet, but they will damage it quite a lot. All right, the weather is better. Nothing's occurring here. So let's bomb this best unit that is still alive, and now it is sufficiently weakened. I reorganized this tank unit. We finally removed that unit and we rush forward. We still have the airdrops, so that's fine. We can use it to resupply our forces here. And yep, the last remaining Soviet unit in this area has been removed. And once we moved here forward, we have cut off this Soviet unit from supply. So in a few turns it will be totally worthless, and the Romanians can remove it off the map. And there is nothing else here, as you can see. So all the Soviet forces are concentrated along the supply route. Right, we removed our tank division and also one of our infantry units, which was weakened. And this unit managed to retreat to a good position. I was not very happy about that, but at the very least it's now been sufficiently weakened. And we take advantage of the good weather and try to destroy as many of the Soviet units as possible. As you see, it's going great. So they don't really stand a chance. Yep. We still have units to attack. There's not much to report, we're just progressing. You have to know which unit to choose to attack, because you want to make the best of your, you want to deal the best damage you can, and that can be sometimes tricky to find out. And also you have to kind of keep pushing, but without sacrificing your supply connection. Here theoretically they could cut us off, and I don't mind that. This is a bait. If they do, they'll be in a very disadvantageous situation, and we can remove them, cut them off, whatever. We outnumber them, so I'm hoping that we will that it will take the bait, but the AI won't. By the way, we still have 3 turns to take this city hex, and as you can see, apart from this one NKVD unit, everything else is green. So I'm not afraid of that we won't. So I'm not afraid that it will prove difficult. The AI knows this and tries to reshuffle its units a bit, put some stronger units in our faces. Right, and this unit finally starts to retreat, and this was very unfortunate. The Romanian tank division got beaten, and we cannot really reorganize it. There is nothing to move this step into, so if you reorganize it, then it's just gonna disappear off the map, and the AI solves this problem for us by defeating it outright. So that's not nice. I'm still not afraid. They cannot really touch our best units, so these 4 units can practically do anything. And this is a great, excellent use of partisan activity. They cut us off and thereby cause these units to run out of supply. For now they are fine, and we have 1 airdrop per turn, but only 1. So this is something that the AI does pretty well. Okay, we remove this little bulge here, and once again we have to make sure that this unit doesn't get resupplied, and we have to also chase it down a bit. Here the weather, this is the storm now, as you can see, and it's turn 7, so we need to make sure that we destroy as many of the Soviet formations now. At least some of them are still not under the storm clouds, like this one, because very soon things are gonna become much more difficult, even movement. So as you know, under storm, movement is halved, and that means that we're gonna have a hard time doing practically anything, positioning, advancing, etc. I will draw this unit here. It will definitely get back in supply the next turn, so that's fine. And yeah, we still need to remove the strongest, these 2 units, which are the strongest. And of course, if it's totally depleted, nothing is really formidable. Obviously, we do not attack this unit. It's still in full supply. We can just wait it out and wait until it runs out dry, and then we can remove it off the battlefield. Yep. This unit is also forfeit, so let's remove it. And now it only has 1 guards tank division. And yeah, I removed, as you remember, we reorganized that tank division that was down to 1 step. We managed to add it to this one, so it now has 7 steps. I know not all of them are active, but whatever. And yep. This unit still hasn't moved, so we use it to deal some damage, get back into supply, and we're fine. Nothing can break our supply line. I even made sure that here somehow they don't, crawl around and cut us off right here. It still would be okay, but I wanted to protect that unit. And by moving this engineer to the front, this front line will hold as well, so we're all good. And now we have 2 more turns. We need to capture this hex. As you can see, we are directly next to it, so we're all good. And the Soviets start receiving steps as reinforcements, but that's not gonna help them much, infantry steps especially. Alright. We reach the bridge here and cut it off. It's important to cut off at bridges, because then the supply would have to run across river, and there they receive a massive penalty. So we're definitely certain that this unit will not be back in supply. So are we, unfortunately. And I try to move this unit off to some better areas to see if it can advance slowly back into supply, crawl back into supply. Here the weather has hit in full, and unfortunately almost everything is in under its effects. So I know that this turn is not going to be excellent. But we still need to attack the victory hex, and as you can see, it worked great. We actually can capture it on turn 8, 1 turn ahead of time, and we use the Großdeutschland division to get there. It's in full supply. It will remain also supplied, and nothing can attack it, especially in bad weather. It would actually literally destroy any attacking unit, any and all attacking units. If the AI threw all of these at it one after the other, then our unit would survive and none of theirs would. I'm 100% sure of that. This unit was not under the protective effect of the clouds, so we removed it. This unit is, as you can see, it's a green unit, and it still manages to put up a fight. And we don't want to waste steps or units like that, so we only attack with our strongest units. Yeah, this turn was kind of okay in the sense that we captured the victory hex, but other than that, it was not really that effective. Alright, turn 8 for the Soviets. As you can see, this front line practically crumbled. Once the weather clears, this is the only unit that's of any consequence. Oh, and sorry, and this veteran one with the gun. That's also, let's not underestimate that one. But our next objective is really just, clean up here and propel our units to the northeast as fast as we can. And the storm as you can see, is still here. Fortunately, some of these units are some of these Soviet units, sorry, are out of the storm, so these units we can easily attack, and that's what we're going to focus on. Also try to move towards the north as much as we can. This unit is also just barely not under the storm, so it is quite in a bad position. Yep. Overrun. Let's attack again. It still survives, but nobody cares. This will die in the next turn, and we can drag ourselves forward. This unit will receive supply through here, so we're fine. And let's remove the the guards unit, and also the best unit that the AI had, and it was in under the storm cloud, but nothing can stand up against our tank formations. So we slowly move it off the map finally. And this unit is green, so I dare attack it. It's still not a great idea, like not extremely successful. Right, we can definitely destroy all these weakened, pathetic units. Yep, everything. And that was actually protected by a storm until it ran out of it. And yep, the only, as I've said, the only good one is here, and unfortunately it's going to be quite a long, dragged out fight to destroy it, but fortunately the gun has been removed. I don't think this is a dangerous unit anymore. It still blocks our path, our supply path, by the way, so it's kind of annoying. But yeah, it doesn't get resupplied, so next turn we can just remove it off the map like that. I'm really waiting for the ice to finally arrive and allow us to proceed in a normal pace, and slowly it will, but the storm, it still persists for now. Alright, we remove this pathetic unit out of existence, and we need to use the Romanians. We need to station them and use them to keep the roads, our supply routes, secure, but with this weather they can barely move, so that's not great. We finally mop up the last remaining resisting units, and our front line is clear. We can barely move because of the weather effects, so that's not great. That's why I thrust this unit to the north, because the storm seemed to be weaker here, so I was hoping it could cover more ground. And yeah, I'm going to remove this tab so we can see the map better. So turn 10 for the Soviets. We have 4 more turns to capture this Siktiaks. Our only real enemy is actually the weather, as you can see, because the AI literally has 6 units, so we heavily outnumber it and especially outgun it. So finally on turn 11, good news, the cold weather arrived, or mostly rather, which means that we can recommence our assault. This unit gets dragged back to supply, and we still want to clear out the partisan hexes. This air attack was pretty pathetic, and once again our unit is this unit is in the storm, so this is not great, but we are not in danger either. What I really didn't like is that these few hexes are still stormy, so we couldn't really advance, unfortunately, but we could do this, cut this unit off, and I don't care if this is out of supply for 1 turn, we'll still be able to resupply it from the air if need be. And then it's still and it's very close now to our target, to our mission. All right, this unit obviously is forfeit. It cannot really do anything, and I really didn't understand why the AI threw this unit so much forward. It now cannot attack, so the only thing it can do is retreat, and we're gonna of course follow it. The AI starts receiving these units. These are Far East units. Far East, Transbaikal, Siberian, so they are winter units. They are not different from the other the standard infantry, by the way, only the graphics are different. And they are veteran, they have T-34, so they are excellent units. And so you need to prepare that when we are about to finish the scenario, the AI is going to start receiving, more reinforcements. Not much, by the way. I think this is all of it, or most of it at least. Yeah, the partisan activity continues. It's not really dangerous at the moment. In the the AI is gonna surprise us in the last turn. In this last turn, right? Now it's time to remove this NKVD unit like this, and proceed, hammering them. Um, as you can see, we are not in any danger whatsoever. These two are forest hexes, by the way, so the units can move around them more quickly. But we need to capture it because of the supply situation. This was an excellent bombing run, 3 suppressed, so our best unit can practically destroy this one. And for safety reasons, I retain 1 unit here constantly in Saratov, just so that the AI doesn't surprise me with something. It doesn't need to be a good unit, I don't care about it. Alright, we have only 2 more turns to take care of this. And the AI is preparing a scheme that I didn't see coming and I didn't prevent, unfortunately. So 2 more turns left to go. As you can see, militarily they're nothing. This unit is elite, by the way, so don't underestimate it, but still it's not going to be that bad. And yep, remove that one and progress. It can still attack, by the way. Air attack that unit. The other ones had a malus because probably they were because of the terrain, so that was the best target. And we finally cleared out the supply road. We're not going to be cut off here, we're going to be cut off at other places, unfortunately, so this didn't really mean anything in the long run. And 1 turn before the final one, we are right next to the victory hex, which is excellent. Right? Resupply this unit so it can work next turn as well. I entrenched that one because I didn't plan to remove it. And this is the final turn for the Soviets. There is nothing they can really do apart from this. This is inconsequential. We are next to the city X. They cannot dislodge this unit. If they attack it with literally anything, they will get evaporated. And then the AI does this, and this was an excellent move. I didn't see it coming. Obviously I immediately remove it, but that's still too late. So all of our forces are out of supply, which is not a problem. This is the last turn. They can all attack and whatever, but some of these units had suppressed steps that they did not regain. And that's precisely why I airdropped this one, because I can make this one stronger. We need to win this turn, so it's okay if we all run out of supply next turn. And out of the 2 units that I could consider resupplying, I decided to help out the Panzer Grenadiers. Alright, so we airdrop them and they're back to full supply. That's great. And let's bomb the city and, just let's win the scenario. We need to attack it and it works out great. They get breached and for some reason they retreat and we can just move in like this. I think I had a very low chance, not more than 30%, but maybe less for them to retreat. So I was pretty surprised. We could have withdrawn, moved the Panzer Grenadiers here, attack with them and move this unit in, or probably want some of the infantry units. So we were still close to winning anyway, but due to the cowardice of this Soviet unit, we actually won pretty early. I mean on the last turn, but still without moving most of our units. Alright, so as I've said, this map is pretty obvious. Just proceed along the supply route, send 1 unit across and keep it close to the river so that it remains supplied. I highly recommend this unit without this specialist step. It will help tremendously. Give up on this little nook, as I've said, only move back some of the Romanian units to help clear out. Do that little trick that I also did, cut them off here. With a few units will suffice. 1 unit will suffice to come here, a few units to clear out the rest of the Soviet formations. And if you manage to win the huge tank battle around and south of Saratov, then you're practically all set. If you capture this on turn 9, I captured it on turn 8, but if you capture it on turn 9, I think you'll be fine to get to the Trans-Siberian Siberian railway line to the northeast. So I really like this map. It's fun, it's huge, it's epic, it has a true offensive, it has weather, and it has guards, tank, core units thrown against us, and it's all good. It has variety and it's interesting. I don't suppose you should have any troubles with it at this point in the game, but if you do, I really hope this video helped. This is, by the way, a 100% success rate, so I don't foresee any issues with this general strategy. In theory, you could, for instance, remove a Pioneer Specialist step and attach it to the other tank unit or to this motorized division if you wish. But I found that I could always, or almost always, attack with the infantry, and if I remove it, then it will be out of commission for 2 turns. So I didn't want to make that sacrifice. Alright, that's it. That was Kuibyshev. I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.